Hello everyone, Mr. Stevens here. Today's lesson is going to be recapping the trigonometric ratios. You should have seen these last year, and yeah, we're just going to go over it all again to refresh it in your memory. Two important things we're doing today. We're labeling the sides of the triangle, and that's always going to be in relation to the angle we're interested in, theta. And we're going to make sure we remember what these trigonometric ratios are. Before we move on, I just want to remind you of this symbol. It's the Greek letter theta. It's like a zero with a line through it. It's the symbol that we usually use to represent an angle that we don't know the size of. So some reminders for you. All the triangles we're going to be dealing with for the vast majority of this unit are right angle triangles. They have a 90 degree in the corner. Now, remember the language that we use to label the sides in relation to theta is that this one is the adjacent side. And the thing you want to remember about the adjacent side is that it is the side that touches the angle theta. It's part of this angle. We call this one over here the opposite side because it is opposite the triangle to where theta is. And this one is always the same. It's called the hypotenuse. This one isn't labeled in relation to theta. It's just the hypotenuse of the right angle triangle. It's across from the right angle. Here that is again, but the thing I want you to recognize here is that even if we rotate the triangle, as we have here, everything still stays the same. The adjacent is the one that touches theta, the opposite is the one across from theta, and the hypotenuse is the one across from the right angle. The orientation of the triangle doesn't affect this. It just can be a little bit harder to recognize sometimes. Right, this is the important thing. I would love you guys to all pick up your pen and copy this stuff down. This is the little thing that we want to remember. SOHCAHTOA. I'm going to suggest that going forward in this unit that we write this at the top of every page that we work on. And it tells us everything that we need to know. So tells us that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. CAH tells us that cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tan, TOA tells us that tan is opposite over adjacent. And these are super important things for us to commit to memory. So I want you to copy down the full thing now into your notes, fully writing out each of these. And then I want you to make a habit of writing this down on every new page. Let's work with this a little bit. I want you to just quickly draw a triangle. It can be in this orientation. It can be in any orientation you like, really. And I just want you to put theta in the corner and label OA and H. It should only take you a second. Pause the video if you need a sec to draw your triangle. Right, you should have had a go at that now. In this case, whoops, we've got opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent. Right, I'm going to work through this stuff with you. We've got here a triangle, and we've given all our sides letters. We're calling them letters, but they are still opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. Even though the opposite is called M, and the adjacent is called N, and the hypotenuse is called X, they are still the opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. That it doesn't matter what they're called. Because if these were numbers, that would still be true. If this was like 3, 4, 5, it would still be H, A, and O as well. Right, let's write down sine theta. sine is opposite over hypotenuse. You guys are probably still on the same page. I'm just going to write this here so it's visible. I am not going to say that you need to write this line down every time. Sine theta equals O over H. But I do think that while you're committing this to memory, it's a good idea to write it. So our opposite is M, and our hypotenuse is X. That's all we're being asked to do here. Don't wait for me. If you think you can do the next two, go ahead and do it. Cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse, which in our case here is N over X. And then tan theta is opposite over adjacent, which in our case here is M over N. It's as easy as that. All right. Now we're just interested in cos here. Have a go. Pause the video, think about it for a sec, and write down what you think cos theta is. All right. It's a good idea, again, while you're still getting comfortable with this stuff, to just write down OA and H. It can really help you. And in this case, we're after A and H. Don't forget your SOHCAHTOA. We're after A and H here, which in this case is and there you have it. I would honestly leave it in that form. You don't really gain much in this unit from now putting that line in your calculator and then writing down a big long decimal here. Unless the question has specified you to answer to a certain number of decimal places, I would leave your answer in this form if you ever get an answer that looks something like that anywhere in this unit. All right, so that's been our review of trig ratios. This should have SOHCAHTOA written in it. You're going to have some questions to practice now that will hopefully solidify that in your memory. If you still have any more questions, get in touch with your class teacher and they'll be more than happy to help you out. Thanks, guys.